Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. I'm Reese, right? And as you can tell by the title, I'll be making a little egg omelette for you today. So as you can see in the video, for the ingredients for the fillings, we'll be using some sausages. This is 2 sausage diced onions, 2 eggs, diced cheese. Now for the cheese, you can grate the cheese or dice it. I chose to dice the cheese. I'm using 2 peppers with a little bit of the seeds. Now if your pepper tolerance is not all the way up there, people, please, you can scrap the pepper or use 1 or half a pepper depending on how tolerable you are of pepper. And also I diced about a half a tomato. So these are the fillings. So firstly, what I'm going to do, recently I've started to saute my fillings for my omelette before I actually put it in the omelette. Before, what I did was just fry the egg and put the fillings in the egg. But I realized it's a little bit easier to manage when I saute the fillings, excluding the cheese. Don't include the cheese. Saute the fillings before I put the filling in the egg. So that's what I'll be doing now. So I've added the oil into the Dutch pot, typical Jamaican Dutch pot, as you can see. So I'm just waiting on it to heat up, then I'll add the fillings into the Dutch pot and let it just saute a bit, not too much, because remember it's going to cook as well when we put it back inside of the egg, so we don't want to cook it out and make it too soft, right? So the oil is heating up, as you can tell. There's a little bit of water in there, so just waiting on it to dry up and for the oil to heat up. So now I'm just going to add the fillings. Okay, I'm getting everything except the cheese, as I said before. Adding into the pot. So there it is, sizzling. For the oil, I use coconut oil, but you can use any oil that you're accustomed to using. Or you can, if you want to be a little bit healthier, you can use coconut oil or olive oil. Again, so everything is in the pot and we're just sauteing. Remember, we're not going to cook it out too much because, as I said, I don't want the fillings to be too soft. So I'm just going to turn down the heat to about medium and just let it cook a bit. If you want, you can add some powder seasoning, but I choose not to because I'm not really a fan of all the seasonings and how that goes. So I'm going to choose not to add it now, but I'll definitely add some seasoning, some powdered seasoning, that is, with the eggs when I'm frying the eggs. So this is what it's looking like now. For me, I usually stop sauteing when I realize that the tomatoes are bleeding a bit. So when you see the onions start to turn a little bit red, that's what I call the tomatoes bleeding. So they're oozing out that red color. Turn up back the heat a bit more. And I want to ensure too that the sausages are cooked through to a point, but still not where the other fillings are too soft, as I said, because as I mentioned before, you don't want them to be too soft. So I'm going to turn off the stove now, and then we'll get to the egg portion of the video. So now we're going to whisk the eggs. I'm adding some all-purpose seasoning. So after you add the seasoning, you just whisk. I've already whisked my egg. I thought the video was recording, but apparently. So now for the fun part. So I've gone ahead, add some oil again. I add coconut oil to the pot. And for this part of the omelette, people, for this part of the process, the first thing you have to ensure that the oil is evenly distributed to all parts of the frying pan. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm just lifting the pot and just rotating the pot a bit to ensure that the oil is everywhere in the frying pan. And of course I use a frying pan for this section, people. So the first instruction, the first tip for this section, ensure that you fry straight through at low heat, medium low heat. So you fry at medium low heat, because I know for most persons when you do omelette, it's burnt. We don't want burnt omelette, so we need the heat to be medium to low heat. So that's the first important part for this section, because this part is very delicate. We don't want to burn the egg. I want to make sure that we have a pretty decent looking omelette. So yeah, this is where the fun begins, people. So you're going to take your already beaten egg and just add it to the pot that you heated to ensure that everything is in. Then you want to just make sure you distribute the egg to all parts of the frying pan. Remember, you want a medium to low heat, low heat, right? That is very important. And you just want the egg to stay a little and cook a bit before we add the filling, right? Okay, remember this part is very important to a perfect omelette. Low heat, ensure that the egg is evenly distributed, right? And allow it to cook for a little bit. You see the white parts coming around, that means it's cooking. So just allow it to cook a little bit. And what you want to do, right, so what you want to do, give it some time, let it cook on the sides. You see it's coming on really nicely. So we're not going to add the fillings to this part. We're going to flip the egg. Now to flip my egg, I'm going to need both hands. I can't really record this part, but you'll definitely see the egg flipped when I come back. So see you on that side. So our egg is flipped. You know, it's a little bit overcooked on this side, but it's okay because this side is going to be on the inside and nobody will see it, so it's pretty much fine. But as I said, the key for this to make it not overcooked, chances are you're going to have a little bit of browning on the egg, but this is acceptable, right? But ensure at all times you keep your heat on low. Right, so now we're going to add the filling. So you're going to ensure that the filling is just on 1/2 of the egg, right? So we're adding the sauteed filling plus the cheese to this portion on 1/2 of the egg. So you draw an invisible line on the egg and ensure that the filling is only on 1/2 of the egg. And there we have it, people. So as you can tell, the filling is on 1/2 of the egg. Probably a little bit more than a half, but that's okay. And you want to ensure that the filling is away from the edges of the egg. you know, this part can come over a little bit more, but I'll fix that. Ensure that it's away from the edges, so the fillings don't spill over into the pan. If it spills over, that's fine also. And also for this step, you probably want to turn off the heat under the egg while you're doing this part, because it can take a little bit of time, and while you're doing this, the egg can burn. So you probably want to turn off the heat at this point and just give yourself enough time to fix up the filling. Ensure that it's not too bulgy, ensure that it's flat, ensure that it's away from the edges of the egg, and ensure that it's at least half of the egg, or maybe a little bit more than a half of the egg. You don't want it too much, because you don't want it too much into the other half of the egg, because you want the egg to be able to close perfectly. All right, so I'm going to close the egg. My heat is off, so I'm going to turn on back the heat and close the egg and give it a little bit of time to cook, and then I'll show you that part. And voila, there we have it, our nice little omelette. You see, this is now the reason why I tell you to ensure that the filling is away from the edges of the egg, because even though I had pushed over mine, we still have it somewhat close to the edge of the egg, right, where it might spill over. See a little thing spill over here, but that's okay. What you can do too is just use your spatula or your fork or whatever you have, and just press it down a bit so that it's not so bulgy, and just push in the side so we don't have any spillage. Of course the cheese is going to run out, but that's fine, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, there we have it, a nice little omelette. Sorry for the exposure, the brightness, but yeah, a nice little omelette, cute and absolutely going to be delicious. That's the main thing. Now what you're going to do once it's finished, you're going to plate it. You can put it on some absorbent paper, but that's kind of probably not the best thing to do. Or you can put it on absorbent paper, but just ensure that if you want to maintain the shape of the omelette, you ensure that you know how to put it on and take it off, because obviously you're not going to eat the egg on the absorbent paper. So you have to ensure that if you want to keep the shape of the omelette, you know how to put it onto the absorbent paper and take it off. For me, I'm not going to use absorbent paper for this, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Okay, so catch me back when I'm plating the omelette. So there we have it, a nice little omelette and a bit of lettuce with some tomatoes, right? So this turned out really well, if I do say so myself, right? So for most of my videos going forward, I'll be doing dishes that are mainly, what should I say now, protein, because I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. I eat healthy in that regard. So going forward, you'll be seeing a lot of protein based meals instead of carbohydrate, but I will incorporate some amount of carbohydrates in my dishes. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because I'll be bringing you the best Jamaican cuisine there is. Okay, right there, so right there, so right there, so bye, thanks for watching. I just had to show you this. Look at this, look at the inside of filling. Ooh, yes, oh my gosh, so delicious. I'll be going at this. All right, in it. Bye.